morning, everyone, and welcome to Amsterdam. I'm truly thrilled to open and welcome all of you to our European community meeting, where we're focused on a topic that resonates across our payment ecosystem: advancing payment security through global collaboration. Many thanks to all of you who are joining us here in beautiful Amsterdam this week. Thank you to those of you who are joining us remotely on our live stream. And whether you are joining us from near or far or remotely, the PCI Council is truly grateful for your time, for your expertise, and your commitment to working with us to secure the future of payments together. Now, before we dive into the work ahead, I wanted to set the stage because the city that we're in isn't just the backdrop, it's actually part of our story. So Amsterdam has always been a city about connection. One of the earliest mottos of the Dutch Republic is Eendracht maakt macht. Unity makes strength. And in the Netherlands, small provinces that were vulnerable on their own, they found power when they joined together. And Amsterdam didn't just speak those words, it lived them. In 1602, the Dutch East India Company founded the world's first stock exchange market here. Merchants, investors, and people from diverse backgrounds came together under shared rules to build trust in global trade. And the canals that powered that trade brought more than just ships. They carried ideas, they carried currency, and they carried collaboration across continents. And Europe has carried that same spirit forward. Today, this continent is a leader in payments. Whether it's been PSD2 driving the secure digital transactions, instant payments becoming a reality, or the rise of open banking that's transforming the way that businesses and customers are connecting. So from Amsterdam's canals to Europe's digital rails, the story has always been the same: connect, collaborate, build trust and resiliency. Now, centuries later, Amsterdam is still a hub of global commerce. Only now, instead of fleets and spices, it's fintech, it's digital identity, and it's contactless payments that's changing the way that we pay. So it's fitting that our community is gathered here in Amsterdam this week, because just as these canals have connected neighborhoods and commerce, PCI's work with this community is working to connect every part of our global payment ecosystem. So now, just as Amsterdam is built by those who were here before us, the PCI community is also built by those who have gone before us as well. And so today I do have some sad news to share. That Bob Russo, the council's first general manager, who is a pillar of our community, sadly he passed away on Monday. But I know Bob well enough, and he would not want us to have a moment of silence. He loved this community. He'd probably much rather prefer a last round of applause. So please help join me in yes. Thank you. All right. Thank you for honoring Bob in that special way. Much appreciated. Okay. All right. So, Bob, right, one of our very first advocates for our council and the standards that we've created, he would be leaning into today, right? Because what we're talking about is advancing payment security through global collaboration. And that's not just words on our slide. That's why the council exists. So many of you know that is the council's mission. In short, right, it's to protect payment account data for the payment industry with the payment industry. And so the work that we're doing with you, our community, it's bold, it's ambitious, and it's meant to have impact, but not just for one segment or one region of the globe or one part of our payment ecosystem. It's for us all. It's for the globe. And so we know that it's not just one organization, one country, or one single technology that can protect the future of payments. It takes a community. It takes our community, shared responsibility. It takes collaboration that crosses borders, that crosses our industry, and it takes diverse perspectives and us working together to curate them. So that's exactly what this meeting is about. We're here coming together to share, to challenge, to solution, and to strengthen the future of payments together. That mission is big because the stakes are big. Payment volume. Payment volume continues to grow year over year. In 2023 alone, the global purchase volume of the 6 top global payment brands, that's a lot to say, reached a jaw-dropping $28 trillion US dollars. Here in Europe, that's approximately 26 trillion euros. And so that is not just a big number. That number is so immense that it's like stacking the GDP of several large nations combined. So when we think about our payment industry, how big and dynamic and vast it is, right? It's not just about the size, but it's also that pace. So the pace of transactions also continues to accelerate. Real-time payments, contactless, and mobile, those are the norm, no longer the exception. And based on a 2024 payment research report, there were an estimated 791 billion global credit card transactions. That's about 2.2 billion transactions every day, about 90 million transactions every hour, 1.5 million per minute, and a staggering 25,000 transactions every single second. So at that lightning pace, right, security cannot be an afterthought. Innovation. Innovation in payment technology continues to also accelerate at top speed. So payment functionality is no longer just a back office function or a chore, a simple add-on to an app or a device on a counter. It's actually become a key part of the customer experience. Today, businesses and customers demand that payments that are faster, simpler, secure, and offer frictionless ways to pay and to be paid. Here in the Netherlands, travelers now ride the public transit simply by tapping, and that's the nationwide contactless system OviPay in action. It's also what seamless feels like, and I think we can probably all appreciate what seamless feels like in some payment experience that we've had. In fact, if I have to bring out my credit card or type in the numbers, I'm very likely to abandon that transaction or perhaps go to another store that makes it easier for me. So the payment experience itself has become a bit of a differentiator. It's no longer just about making that transaction. It's about delivering and receiving a smooth, secure, accessible, and standout experience that can truly set you apart in the market. So what does this mean for us? Taken together, growth, speed, innovation, those trends are defining the payment landscapes that we're working to secure together. And as payments and payment technologies continue to evolve, our security community has a unique responsibility. Not only do we have to keep pace with innovation, but we also need to help support how it securely unfolds to address existing and emerging threats. So it's up to us, this special community, to ensure that we are supporting this innovative, dynamic payment space with our collaboration and our forward-looking security efforts. The Council, together with you, our community, can turn this kind of challenge really into an opportunity. After all, there is no single player that can secure the future of payments together, but when we work together, we can truly achieve big outcomes. And the good news is we have some really big players at our table. Our principal participating organizations and our board of advisor members are some of the most influential companies in global commerce. These organizations have made the concerted effort to work with the council, sit at our table, and participate at the highest level possible. Now, 30% of this population is included on the Fortune 500 list. 4 of the largest merchants in the world sit on our board of advisors. The top 10 global merchant acquirers also sit on this advisory board, and these 10 top organizations are processing more than 95% of all card-based transactions in the United States. And all of these powerful organizations not only represent themselves, they also represent their segment of the globe, their region of the globe, their segment of our industry, and literally the millions of downstream touch points. They represent all of us here in this room. So it's just one of those another reason why it's so important that they don't just have a PCI membership, but they're actually working directly with the council to help us evolve the future of our PCI security standards. And by collaborating with security leaders in our payment industry, again, like all of you here today, we at the council are working to ensure that we're focused on what's important to our industry and that we're evolving our programs and our standards to focus on what's important. And Amsterdam is just so fitting for this type of work. A city that's known for building bridges between people, ideas, and commerce. And that same spirit is what we bring when we come together as a community. We're building connections, we're sharing perspectives, we're shaping solutions that strengthen the security of payments for everyone. And so after I move through my panel here this morning, I will actually have the opportunity to sit down with a panel of executives and talk exactly about this. We're going to discuss how strategic collaboration translates into real-world action and how executive decisions are helping to shape a stronger, more secure future for our global payments. Now, last year in Barcelona, I shared with you a bit about my vision for the next 18 months. I committed that I was going to help the council stay forward-looking by optimizing our engagement with our community stakeholders and by evolving the way we work to help support this fast-paced, innovative payment marketplace. And I'm thrilled to say that we've made some real progress against that vision as we begin to execute on some of these initiatives this year. And so since Barcelona, we've made some really big advancements. This year, we expanded our board of advisors. In June, we welcomed our largest board ever, up from 53 organizations to 64. We're continuing to grow and invest in our global engagement model. This year, I'm excited to announce that we have launched a new regional engagement board supporting the India and South Asia market. We're continuing to unlock new opportunities in how we're collaborating with our community to evolve our standards, our programs, and our training. We're using collaboration tools so that we can work with our community throughout the year. And we had such good feedback on our pre-conference workshops last year that we leaned into that and we brought them back this year so we can have these discussions together. We're continuing to evolve and maturing how we are operationalizing our engagement model. One of the big movements that we made this year was to continue to enhance our principal participating organization membership so that we are working with our stakeholders on the standards that they're most interested in. We're able to work with them earlier, often, and at a more strategic level. This year, we also facilitated our first ever Board of Advisor vote on the readiness of a PCI standard coming to this global community. And so in the May timeframe, our Board of Advisors voted on PCI, PTS, POI version 7, and that was delivered to our community after that Board of Advisor vote. And speaking of our standards, we're continuing to make great strides in adopting new practices that are helping ensure that we're more agile in the way we're working. This year, we have implemented a product delivery operating model, and we've begun to report out with transparent product family roadmaps. Now, there's a lot more to come on that, and to share more insight on our progress, over the course of this morning, you're going to get to hear from both Diana Greenhaw, PCI's Head of Education and Engagement, and Deanne Zettler, PCI's Head of Product and Technology. Diana will be hosting a panel that aims to highlight how that organizations that are working with the council are turning global partnerships into actions. So they're going to share with us some of their experiences and perspectives of when they're working with the council, how it's helping to break down silos, align business goals with security needs, and leading through complexity in today's changing landscape. Later, Deanne and her team are going to share with you how we're evolving into a dynamic product-led organization, which this is some pretty exciting news for us at the council, as well as the industry. They're going to share their insights on how we are looking to modernize our journey, redefining how we're bringing our standards and programs to this community, and the ways that we are influenced by your thought leadership. We also have something very special lined up for our time together. Our guest keynote speaker is Bernie Collins. She is the Sky Sports Formula One analyst, and she was the former head of race strategy for the Aston Martin Formula One team. You may have seen her on Sky Sports, or perhaps you've read her book, which is How to Win a Grand Prix. And in Formula One racing, success comes from constant innovation, relentless performance improvement, and the ability to make split-second decisions that change outcomes. Does that sound familiar? I think it sounds a lot like our payment industry. And I think while we as security professionals, we might not be chasing podium finishes, I think that Bernie's world does mirror ours a little bit, I like to think, making high-stake decisions under pressure, balancing risk and reward, knowing when to push forward or when to defend. I think maybe the instincts with Formula One racing and the world of payments, there's some similarities. So tomorrow, Bernie will bring us our big keynote speaker, but the learning and the collaboration starts today. Across 2 full tracks, we have full agendas with sessions that will bring real value to this community and have been informed, actually, by our board of advisors. You're going to get to hear from some of the PCI council experts, those that are evolving our standards, our programs, and our training. But we are fortunate enough to share the stage with some of the industry thought leaders who are bringing their boots-on-the-ground perspectives. Of course, the real value of us coming together comes alive during our networking opportunities. So over the course of today and tomorrow, please plan to catch up with your peers, your colleagues, your competitors, share insights, ask questions, challenge ideas, and collaborate. And then, of course, please plan to spend some time in our vendor showcase. Lean into the discussions there. I think that's where we make the most of the experience and the expertise that gathers here at our community meetings. All right, a little bit of by the numbers. So I noted that this week, of course, is an opportunity for us to come together on all things payment security, but it's not the only way that we're reaching this community throughout the year. This year, we are almost at 200,000 subscribers and followers on our social channels. Those include our PCI Perspectives blog, our Coffee with the Council podcast, our global content library on YouTube, and our PCI Monitor newsletter. Also this year, we had 6 webinars reaching almost 2,400 of our community members. And these webinars cover topics for assessors, for participating organizations, as well as other industry news and information that might be important for our community. This year, we've trained approximately 5,000 individuals to date, Notably, this year is where we also brought back in-person training. So we had some training around our community meetings, but since COVID, this was the first time we brought back a more fulsome calendar of in-person trainings. That feedback, your desire to have that in-person experience has been noted, and so stay tuned. We will be publishing our 2026 training on our website shortly. And then I mentioned that we have had such great feedback on our workshops. So we have expanded those, we've brought them back, we're leaning into that. We're looking for opportunities to continuatively evaluate what you like about those and improve there. Over the course of the next 3 community meetings this season, we will have had the opportunity to join about 550 of our community members in these really robust conversations. All right, and I also mentioned that we've made some real investments in evolving the way that we're working and the pace by which we're working. So it's been a record year for the volume of stakeholder opportunities to work with the council, and the council has been more prolific than ever before. But for us, pace doesn't always necessarily mean speed. In fact, it's more around evolving the way we're working. We're working to implement a product delivery model so that we are engaging with our stakeholders, like I said, earlier and often, because we believe that was going to help us remove waste from our process, understand the impact of change, scale our delivery, and frankly, get it right faster. So as Bernie Collins will tell us tomorrow, it's not just about the fastest lap, it's about consistency, it's about strategy, it's about knowing when to push and when to conserve, and that's what wins races. And so while I'm excited, and I hope you're excited, I know my team is really excited about all of this incredible work that we're just about to get started here in Amsterdam. But before I do that, I do want to give you a glimpse of what's ahead. Because next year isn't just another year together. Next year marks a major milestone. Next year, 2026, will mark the Council's 20th anniversary. And that's 2 decades of bringing this community together, sharing ideas, shaping standards, and advancing the security of payment forward. Now, many of you have actually been here for all 20 years. Some of you have worked with the Council in some capacity, on some deliverable over the course of those 2 decades. And so next year, you can expect a few reflections on just how far we've come, how impactful this community is, and also some excitement on what I believe is still yet for us to accomplish together. So believe me, we will not miss an opportunity to celebrate our progress or our partnership. Okay, and so back to our sessions today and a little bit of a call to action. As we close this kickoff and we get back into our sessions, I want to first bring us back to where we are today, to Amsterdam. Because for centuries, this city has been a place where people from different nations, speaking different languages and backgrounds, have come together to trade, to innovate, and to collaborate. Europe reflects that same principle, with 44 countries speaking 24 official languages, although I think there's hundreds across the continent, across multiple markets, and yet a shared vision for secure and resilient payments. And that's exactly what our community represents. Each of you brings your perspective from your own organization, your segment of our industry, or your part of the globe, but together, we're something bigger. Together, we are a global community that's advancing the security of payments for everyone. And so the partnerships that are forged here, they reach across our industry, across the continents, and it proves that when we work together, there's really no limit what we can accomplish. So, like I said, this isn't just a big welcome to the community meeting. It's a call to action for global collaboration that expands and crosses borders. So please, I encourage you to make the most of this week. You have invested your most valuable resources, your time, your energy, your expertise. I like to say your company's travel and expense budgets. So please take this time to listen generously, share boldly, share your challenges and your successes, ask the tough questions, and of course, most of all, connect. Connect in the way that only this community can. Okay, and remember, Eendracht maakt macht. Unity makes strength. So, from the canals of Amsterdam to every corner of the globe, our work flows outward, and it flows stronger when we advance together. So again, welcome to the community meeting. Welcome to Amsterdam. Thank you for being here. Okay, so up next, it's still me. I'm going to be bringing up a C-suite perspective to join me. We're going to have a dialogue, really a candid discussion on how leadership decisions are driving a stronger, more secure future for global payments. And I am very excited for them to share with you how their organizations are operationalizing trust, exchanging intelligence, navigating change, and demonstrating what it really takes to drive meaningful, lasting impact on security at the highest levels of the organization.